Hi guys, this is a final reveal video. I thought I'd show you what I've got. Three kits actually. I'm going to do 3 videos today and get them all up today, hopefully. The first is on my World War One female tank. This is the Mark 1 World War One tank that was armed with 4 Vickers machine guns in the side. I did do some major alterations to the paint job on this kit, according to the models, the boxing that and the decals that you got with the kit. The actual the paint guide suggested you painted this tank in 3 different colour camo pattern that was very elaborate and looked very lovely and everything. The only problem with it was that it only actually was applied to the World War One tanks probably for about a month during the entirety of World War One. They were utilised with that paint scheme in their first initial push during the Battle of the Somme in 1916. However, by the end of November, it was very quickly realised that the tanks were so caked in the environment at which the tanks were asked to perform in that they ended up just being completely brown all over. So the camo pattern was lost completely. So they tended to paint the kits they tended to paint the tanks completely dark earth matte brown, and then push them into service battle as they were like that. And this is the colour scheme that I've chosen for this tank. And I think, to be honest with you, I quite like it. It's a nice finish. I also made some changes to the tank's overall markings because when the Germans started to capture some of the Mark 1 tanks, they were pushing them into service in the German army, and so the British had to find some form of identification to identify which was British tank Mark 1s and which were German Mark 1 tanks. And the easiest way that they found was to put a white flash on the tank with a red stripe going down the side. And they often had this applied to the top as well for identification purposes from aerial photography and aerial observation, to ensure that they weren't misidentified and fired upon by British forces, French forces or Belgian forces. This tank is actually marked up in the livery of, I think there was 17 Battalion at Cambrai in 1917. And the tank is N Company, Vehicle 287, and it was actually affectionately known as the Duke of York. I did find a little bit of information on this from some of the World War One memorial sites, and information on World War One tanks is not easy to come by. It took quite a lot of research to figure out which vehicle I wanted to actually copy, and this was the one that I decided upon in the end. A really good source of information is actually the tank chats that are done by the fella at Bovington Tank Museum. They're really good, and they're very informative, and he has a way of putting the information across that even laymen's and children will understand quite easily. The guy is amazing. He's getting on now, but he's an amazing guy and does some wonderful videos. So if you're ever building armour, have a look at YouTube's tank chats. I can't remember what the guy's name is, but the links are on my inbox review on this kit. So that's the World War One tank. I just wanted to show you something else as well, which I thought would be quite interesting for you. The way I build my tracks on tanks is an interesting one, and for me it works, and it was actually a tip given to me by somebody at Airfix. But basically the tank track on, I'll turn it that way up so you can see, the tank track on your left is actually the track method of construction advised by the kit from Airfix. And I'll be honest with you, it's not that satisfactory, is it? I mean, it worked, but there's a big massive gap there, and the track on the right is my method of construction. And the difference is, on the left you use a heated knife, and on the right you use a staple from a staple gun. And what you do is you bring the track together and you staple it together and then you press the staple hard into the track so that most of the staple actually disappears into the track, and then you paint the staple the colour of the track, and in this case it was rubber black. And on the other side you can see it's not very satisfactory, but on the right hand side you can see it's okay. And when the track is actually, I'll show you the difference, when the track is actually down onto the deck, you can still see a slight gap. If I turn the tank round, you can't. And that, to me, is a much better method of constructing tank tracks on tanks. Very, very pleased with this result. I did have serious concerns about whether the tracks would actually go on properly, because when I built the Mark 1 mail tank, the tracks weren't long enough, but they've obviously rectified the problem, and these tracks sit on this tank incredibly well. They're perfect length, which is really good. So that's the Mark 1 female tank from Airfix. Very pleased with the result. I hope this video has been of some use, and anyone out there who fancies doing a World War I diorama, don't be afraid to go for the Airfix Mark 1 tank. It's an old tool, it's a very, very old tool. But when I opened the box and started building this kit, I'll be showing you the build progress video on this later, I was very surprised at how crisp and reasonably flash free the parts were when you consider the release date on this kit. So hope that's it for this video. I hope you guys are having fabulous results with your projects, and the modelling is going fantastically and smooth. I'll see you for the next one. Thanks so much, lads. Bye bye.